Et salut tout le monde. On est aujourd'hui sur The Stanley Parable. Alors, j'ai très vite joué le début, j'ai fait le scénario de base, mais vraiment basique. Et j'ai découvert vite fait que il y avait pas mal de fins différentes qu'on peut faire en n'écoutant pas justement le narrateur. Parce que le jeu est basé autour du narrateur. Donc je vais lancer le jeu, on va voir ce que ça donne. On va continuer un peu à découvrir d'autres fins. Et bah j'espère que ça va bien se passer. Alors juste le jeu. Tac. Une seconde. Il faut régler pas mal de choses en fait. Déjà on est en full screen, ça c'est première erreur. On n'a pas allumé le son. Bon bref. Alors, Stanley Parable, c'est ça. Je vais mettre la lumière moins sombre. Ah. Oh bah là on est pas mal. Mal là non? C'est fou que ça te fait pas. Ah il y a lui qui est mal orienté. Hein, c'est pas mieux. Voilà. Bon bah là on est bien. Là on est bien. Il manque le jeu mais ça c'est pas un souci. Et je voulais juste vérifier un truc. Alors 2 secondes. Et après on est parti. Je m'y engage. Personnellement. Ok donc parfait. Bon bah allez go. Ah. Alors juste voir si je peux me mettre. Oh j'ai pas besoin de me mettre en full screen. Je peux rester comme ça. Comme une 80p. Ah ça, bien ça. Mettre sans bordure, parfait. Mais il y a tout dans le jeu. C'est parfait, on va jouer comme ça. Ça je peux sortir de l'écran. Voilà. Ok. Bon, c'est parti. J'espère que je me mets au bon endroit. A priori, ça devrait le faire. Du da. Alors, Stanley Parable, c'est un jeu qui est vraiment concentré autour d'un narrateur qui, entre guillemets, te dit ce qu'il faut faire, mais t'as plein d'options où t'es pas obligé de faire ce qu'il dit. Et c'est à ce moment-là que le jeu trouve tout son sens. Chaque fois qu'il va te dire prends cette porte-là et que tu prends pas cette porte-là, tu vas découvrir un scénario alternatif de l'histoire de base, qui finalement l'histoire de base est assez simple. On s'en l'a vu. Donc voilà. Du coup, on va refaire vite fait l'histoire de base. J'ai pas réussi à enregistrer finalement. Voilà. Donc allons au meeting room. Là, on fait le scénario complètement de base, où on fait exactement ce qu'il nous dit.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alors on écoute tout à fait ce que dit le narrateur.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Voilà, allons là-bas du coup. C'est par là, c'est un jeu interactif qui nous suit.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vous voyez, là on aurait pu descendre par exemple. On aurait pu descendre. Scénario alternatif tout ça. Donc on est là. Le patron il est là.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Là je crois que c'est
shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Ah putain, j'y crois pas, j'aurais jamais cru qu'il... Ok.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked
ça y est.
forward into the opened passageway.
Voilà. Là, on va là. On laisse. Là, vous allez voir, il y a plein de trucs alternatifs.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Voilà. C'est notre base.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Là, il y a
Control
Escape.
Facility.
J'ai jamais fait ça non plus. En vrai, autant aller par Escape, hein, parce que le scénario de base, je le connais déjà.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ah!
The
Ça me
door
fait pas
behind
peur.
him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Non.
At
J'y
this
vais.
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ok. Allez. Je suis mort ou je suis pas mort? Oula. Tout va bien.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Merde.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
J'aimerais
Perhaps his
partir.
death was of no great loss.
Je veux partir
than
d'ici.
plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Non.
Farewell, Stanley.
Non. Allô?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Ah mais je suis toujours vivant.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
What
When
the fuck?
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he...
Allez. Ça c'est quoi ça? Button sounds. D'accord. Pas rentrer. D'accord. Nature paintings. Ordinateur de Stanley. Layout du bureau. Ok. Comme ça. Voilà. Ok. D'accord. C'est les deux premières portes, c'est vrai que c'est ça qui ouvre un peu le jeu. Et là, il y a quoi du coup? Les ordinateurs. Putain, il y a un solitaire dessus. Alors là, on peut aller à gauche ou à droite. Encore un choix. De toute façon, ce jeu c'est que des choix. The Office. Maintenance Room, ok. Ok. Waouh. Dear Strong Bad, how are you gay? Hein? Hello? Your emails. Ah donc ça c'est les emails qui ont été envoyés par des joueurs. Ça c'est full déco en fait, c'est vraiment la fin du jeu, comment ils ont construit le jeu et tout. Trop bien de faire ça, un truc comme ça. C'est dingue. C'est dingue de prendre le temps de faire ça. Ah. Les trailers. Oui, trailer, mais il marche pas. Ok. L'air de marcher non plus. Là. Les choses qui ne fonctionnent pas, mais ça doit faire partie du jeu. Le elevator. Là, c'est le exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Huh.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
C'est
Listen
ouf.
to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Non, je sais pas
Stop
quitter.
now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time choose.
Ah. Faut qu'on est mort. C'est la vraie fin. Je sais pas ce qui se passe. Est-ce qu'on est obligé de quitter là? Peut-être, hein. Je peux rien faire là. Succès déverrouillé, you can't jump. Ok. Je crois que j'ai pas le choix, je suis obligé. Ok, bon, c'est ouf en tout cas, cette ça part dans tous les sens. C'est assez insane. Bon, alors, maintenant faisons,
How
essayons.
long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Ok.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Donc là, bien évidemment, on va à droite.
This was not the correct way to the meeting
Voilà,
room,
on va essayer
and
de le trigger
Stanley
un
knew
peu.
it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But
On avance.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Donc là, évidemment, on va aller tout droit. Là, il y a quoi là? J'ai dit, la partie tout droit, j'ai déjà fait aussi. Donc allons là, parce que là, je crois qu'il y a un
And so
truc.
he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the
Voilà, là, on
opposite
peut
door,
descendre.
and got back on track.
Voilà, parfait. Ça, j'ai encore jamais fait.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Ouais, je vais où là?
From here, it's, left.
Faut pas aller ailleurs.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right, my mistake.
Quel enfoiré!
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Allez, ouvre.
Now, let's see. We went down, right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ah. Par là, alors, j'imagine. Est-ce qu'on arrive?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
J'ai déjà vu ça.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Putain. Ok.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what?
Quoi?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh,
Pourquoi ça plante?
Change. Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or...
C'est trop bien.
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Bah
Right
ouais.
here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ok. Pas mal. Pas trop où je vais, mais je vais n'importe où. Attends, mais ça me connectait pas du tout par là. Bizarre. J'allais par là.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Non.
I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but
Mais
it's
je
got to
tourne
be
en
better
rond.
than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Non. Putain. Laisse-moi jouer. Rien ici.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah bah super.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Putain. D'accord.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
What the
story.
fuck?
Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Hop. C'est des
Now
petits
this...
ronds-piens.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story
Bordel.
took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Voilà.
I
Merci.
know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
Ok.
Oh, no. No, I don't
Ah, si,
feel right
allez.
about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those
Ah, oui, ça
situations.
porte.
Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to
Ah
restart.
putain. Allez, c'est reparti.
All right, I've got a solution.
Il a collé
This
par
time, to make
terre.
sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Quoi? Je vais aller par là.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
Oh, mais non. Bon, ok.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Quel
Nope.
bordel.
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective
bordel.
experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oula. Peut-être baisser un petit peu. Le problème, c'est que la voix, elle est pas très forte. Putain, mais c'est tout. Que cette musique. Putain, c'est parti. Ah, du coup, ils vont aller me forcer mon bureau, c'est ça. Horrible. Fuck. Quoi ce bordel? Genre, moi cette musique elle a plu. D'accord.
Wait, cut the music.
Ah.
Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
D'accord. Je sais pas trop à quoi sert cette putain de
Wait,
plante.
what? We're back at the office?
Mais putain!
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable,
C'est
right?
quoi ce bordel?
The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Bon bah je suis chez moi. Quel bordel. Je vais pas tourner en rond pendant 10 ans. Ah,
Oh, no, not again, Line. How
Ah.
could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
12 fois qu'on restart. Ok.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line.
Ah.
What's it ever done for us?
D'accord.
We're intelligent people, right?
C'est vrai.
Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting,
Allez.
daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Allez. Méga chaud.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and
Ouais.
Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
C'est un peu
What do you
vide.
want our story to be? Go
contre, c'est
on. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
J'aimerais sortir de ce couloir.
Oh, no,
Ah.
not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Le lui. Il y a même le TM sur le lui. Pas mal.
Ah,
Ah.
a choice. We get to make a decision.
D'accord.
From here, the story is in our control.
Parfait.
How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Hein?
Okay.
D'accord.
So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go,
Je marche en rond.
there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going?
Bah bien sûr.
And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny
J'espère que vous avez suivi.
awaits.
Je peux pas aller à gauche quand même. J'aime bien la gauche.
Oh, hold up, what's this?
Ah tiens, ça fait déjà 16 minutes que je joue.
Ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
Ah non, c'est chiant.
That's really how all this goes?
On en est où là?
It's all determined?
Find the confusion
So
ending
now,
schedule.
according to the schedule, I restart again. Then
Ouais,
what?
là, c'est
Am
le
I just
5e.
supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My
oui,
mind
après, tu
goes
forgets.
blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean,
Ah,
did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
tu vas
I
restart.
guess
c'est
now
ça?
we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree?
Non, mais
I'm
où
not quite
une
sure
porte,
if
sinon?
we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Oula. D'accord. Je crois que ça part sur un restart. Et là, il a oublié du coup. Enfin, moi, il a oublié.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
Ah,
mean?
bah voilà, il a oublié.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Il a complètement oublié.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ok.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
D'accord.
I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside.
C'est qui, her?
To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oula.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
What the f... C'est qui?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
Je peux pas bouger.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oula. Ah.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? Did they want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Ah, il a complètement pété un plomb, là.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Sur 4.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
D'accord.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
C'est beau. Préparez le dîner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
D'accord.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je suis bloqué? Mais c'est chiant. Laissez-moi partir. Pas sûr qu'il y ait autre chose.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Je connais
The
un
lounge
autre
was
passage.
sublime.
Je vais
a
le
work of
refaire parce que
art.
ça va lancer un
But
peu.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen
Ouais.
to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Allez, ok.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The 2 of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
D'accord.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Hein?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No! Oh, thank God. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it?
Horrible.
You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Oh, what the fuck?
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I still thought that was possible.
D'accord. De toute façon, j'ai pas d'autre choix. Hein. Oh, ça fait rien, je suis obligé de redémarrer.
Is it
Ah.
over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Ok. Voyons voir.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ah, on n'a pas fait aussi...
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Ouais, on n'a pas fait
Yet
pour
there was
descendre
not
les
a
escaliers
single
aussi.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Voilà, je vais
Hoping he
descendre.
might find an coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Et ça, on l'a pas fait.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
C'est stylé.
How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Moi, j'ai pensé avant.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
De
All
confiance, je
I
suis pas
want
si
is
sûr.
my life
Salut, Monix.
exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal.
Il est ouf ce jeu.
I am normal.
Ça te retourne le cerveau.
Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Ah, alors est-ce qu'on est?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley.
Ça y est, c'est pas en couille.
I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be
Oula.
real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice?
Ouh, la
Who
drogue.
am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Ah, d'accord. Fais-moi un résumé du jeu. C'est un jeu, en
This is
fait.
the story of a woman named Mariella.
Attends. En fait, tu refais le même
Mariella
truc
woke
en
up on a
boucle.
day like
Et
any
l'histoire
other.
change.
She arose,
selon
got
tes
dressed,
actions.
gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange
Du coup, je me
man.
suis suicidé là.
He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is
Ah
real
ouais, il est fou.
and what
Il y a
isn't.
plein de fins différentes et
It
plein
was
de trucs.
comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
D'accord. C'est la fin ou pas? En fait, il y a plein de fins différentes. Oui, voilà. Donc en gros, à chaque fois en début de jeu, je me réveille dans ce bureau, qui est mon bureau finalement. Et en gros, mon boulot, c'était d'appuyer sur des touches. Alors, l'histoire du jeu, c'est je suis un employé du bureau. Le PC me dit sur quelle touche appuyer, j'appuie sur la touche que le PC me dit. Et du coup, là, je me réveille, donc dans le jeu, et tous mes collègues ont disparu. Et tout tourne autour de ce narrateur qui te parle et qui te dit ce que t'es censé faire, c'est un peu à la voix dans ta tête, quoi. Il te dit ce que t'es
Already,
censé
this
faire.
was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Voilà, et en fonction des choix que tu fais, en fait, tu recommences, mais les phrases sont différentes du narrateur. Genre, cette phrase-là, je l'avais jamais eue, alors que j'ai déjà commencé une trentaine de fois à cet endroit-là. Du coup, tu commences des chemins de scénario, et selon le chemin que tu as pris, ton jeu redémarre, mais il va pas dire la même chose, et tu vas pas aller aux mêmes endroits, etc. Enfin, c'est ouf, quoi. C'est vraiment ouf, ce jeu. Et tu vas voir, si tu regardes un petit peu... J'aime bien sa voix aussi, au narrateur, elle est rigolo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Voilà, donc ça, c'est ce qu'il dit d'habitude, quand j'arrive dans cette salle. Du coup, là, par exemple, je peux aller à droite, si je veux.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Là, on arrive dans le Employee Lounge.
Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach,
Ça, j'ai jamais eu.
giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly
Quoi?
love.
Hein? Mais ok. J'ai jamais eu cette phrase.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Je t'emmerde, je fais ce que je veux. Quel enfoiré.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Alors, on
left.
va bien te faire foutre. On va aller tout loin. Voilà.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ok. Ça, on connaît. Donc là, soit...
Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Bon,
I
en
realize
face.
that investing your
Bon,
trust
voilà.
in someone else can be difficult.
Je vais retourner
but
là,
the
je
fact is that the story is... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Ouais.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Ok, là on fait full, full bleu.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
La bleue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
La bleue, j'ai...
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly.
La bleue.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see?
Voilà.
There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest.
Ah bah,
I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Ouais, 5 sur 5.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Dans tous les cas, je vais là.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Allez, 5.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Il va me montrer
You wouldn't mind
Minecraft.
taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Allez, c'est Minecraft.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards
Ah oui, non,
danger.
ça c'est trop mignon.
You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of
La dernière fois,
family
il a
life.
cramé le bébé.
I think
Laissé
the
cramer.
art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
Allez, ok, je joue
Be
en
sure
4
to
heures.
keep notes on your experience.
Ah, le bruit horrible en plus. Quel plaisir. Bon, allez, crève.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't
Le bébé
think
a
of a
brûlé.
single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out.
Bon, ça on l'a déjà fait.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Qu'est-ce qu'on n'a
missed a
pas
memo.
encore fait? Voilà,
When
droite,
Stanley
gauche,
came
on
to a
peut
set
faire.
of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ça, ok.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
D'accord.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Quoi? Ouais, bon, d'accord. C'est vrai qu'on l'avait déjà fait. On peut aller par là. On peut aller par là. On peut aller par là. Dommage. Bon. J'ai l'impression d'avoir un choix ici. Et non par là.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ok.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Ouais.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
J'ai fait ça.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ah oui.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was
Never.
unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Aller plus haut là.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content.
J'ai pas été là où.
Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ça c'est ce que j'ai fait la dernière fois, mais peut-être pas le refaire. La dernière fois j'ai désactivé je crois. Awaiting input. Ah non, rien. Faut que j'avais fait
And
off.
when at last he found the source of the...
faire on.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the
Ça, c'est
event
chiant.
that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah,
nul.
now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start.
Et là-bas, le 3.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood.
pas où il est,
You're
le
gonna
3.
die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I
Le 4
erased
là-haut, 1,
them.
2.
I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office
Y a
forever,
pas de
pushing
3.
buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not?
J'ai fait
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or
Ouais.
did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running
Allez.
from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room.
Trop, c'est trop
Buttons.
sûr, trop
No,
c'est
these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away
Ouais, j'y
to your
crois pas.
death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
Quel enfoiré.
This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces.
C'est pas cool,
Will
c'est
you
pas
cling
cool.
desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
Ah. Putain, il y a vraiment rien à faire là. T'es sûr que j'aurais pu me sauver? Oula! Il y a du papier par terre.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Pourquoi toute cette paperasse là partout?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Money, more money. More water coolers. Très bien.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during
je vais
work
pas refaire
hours.
ça quand
He
même.
might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers...
Ça, on l'a déjà fait. Il y a que à savoir ce qu'on n'a pas fait encore.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Qu'est-ce qu'on a loupé?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
C'est compliqué.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you, or... What? Really? I was in the middle of
Ouais, mais
something.
fallait que
Do
je
you have
regarde.
zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Les deux s'ouvrent, mais je crois que ça mène au même endroit de toute façon.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here, yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment... No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we? Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Le pauvre.
No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back there? See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
D'accord. Est-ce que ça fait quelque chose au bout d'un moment?
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No, no. What do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Je peux pas aller ailleurs.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along.
Mais ouvre-moi une porte.
But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Putain, pas l'autre fin. C'est la fin. C'est la fin des fins. Je vois pas ce que je
Stanley
pourrais faire
decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
d'autre. D'accord.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Quoi faire ici? Ah! Ça, c'est intéressant. Jamais été ici, tiens. Il y a du nouveau! Ce qui va m'emmener... C'est au même endroit. La merde. Allez, non, donc il faut que je monte. Ah, monter. Parce que j'appuie vers le bas, il change de direction et il retourne en bas. Alors. Par contre, il va falloir m'ouvrir un peu. J'espère que c'est pas infini cette merde. J'ai pas fait tout ça pour rien. Quelle connerie. Ça n'a servi à rien. Et... Ah nice. D'accord. Pas grand chose ici non plus. Mais on peut rien faire.
Here's the door, just go.
De pire en pire. Allez. J'ai pas l'impression qu'on puisse faire grand chose d'autre là. Je trouve plus de sortie du chemin de base. Pas à quel endroit je pourrais pas faire
Stanley
ci.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Ça on l'a déjà
Facility.
fait aussi.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Maintenant je fais demi-tour.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. Nope, still on board with death. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
J'ai la force.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over an...
Voilà. Ça c'est fait. Mais je l'avais déjà fait.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ouais, très bien, très bien. Est-ce que je suis de retour ici?
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing? When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Pas rentrer dans cette porte.
And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room. What a room, what a room. What a room. Va-va-voom. What a room.
Okay.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captive, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Qu'est-ce qui me manque? Qu'est-ce que j'ai loupé? En réfléchir à tous les trucs que j'ai fait.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office.
Quel moment
He
j'aurais pu,
wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly...
En
dear,
face,
hold on
c'est
for a minute, please. Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Absolument.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick.
Bon, écoutez, on va faire une petite pause de live ici et on reprendra la prochaine fois. Ciao.